Survivor Series WarGames. Survivor Series WarGames has become probably one of my more favorite PLEs of the year. Not only because I've been to the first one on the main roster, and it was probably one of my favorite times that I've ever had at a wrestling event, but that as a person who's watched NXT Black and Gold, I've come to love and appreciate the match. I know a lot of people get sick of it, but I will always have a love and appreciation for War Games. And I think it's a perfect way, especially with WWE being faction heavy, to really get these big faction storylines done with. And obviously, a lot of people did not know how to predict this PLE. It's one of the more harder PLEs to predict, or this one was hard to predict because you didn't know if there's going to be a heel turn, especially in the women's War Games matchup. I mean, a lot of people kind of assumed that the OG Bloodline was winning, but my predictions, yeah, they were not good to say the least at all. Now, we started things off with the women's War Games match, which has been the norm for the last couple of years now, and I predicted there to be a heel turn on Team Rhea. Spoiler alert, there was not one. Now, it was good to see Naomi compete on her birthday, nevertheless have a party hat and have the fans sing happy birthday to her. It's it was a great moment, and shout out to the Vancouver crowd for doing that. Now, Rhea probably had the coolest look all night, and the first thing that I thought of when looking at this Rhea look was the House of Black. I don't know if that's what she was going for, but if she did, she nailed it. It was my favorite look. Such a badass look. I don't care what the natural Rhea haters have to say. It looked great. Now, we can't forget about the GOAT of this particular match. Io Sky competed in every women's War Games match, and she is amazing. I mean, everyone knows, if whoever follows me on X and Twitter, how much I love this woman. Now, the match took a long time to pick up, and some would say that the match did not live up to the hype. And to say that this match did not pick up would be an understatement, because a couple of points I felt very bored. I mean, Bayley and Nia Jax started things off, and it's not really their fault, but they should have definitely gone more brutal in this matchup. You know, kind of like the men's War Games match had a lot of. It just felt slow paced, and it just took forever for things to pick up. And to me, that was one of the vocal points. I mean, until everybody got into the match for the most part, this match was not that pleasant to watch. Now, I love Naomi coming down to the ring in her party hat. That was kind of cool. But I mean, besides besides a couple of points, yeah. I mean, Candice LeRae. Let's shout out Candice LeRae for 1 second. I mean, I've been wanting to get her push for a long time, and lately she's been booked pretty well. She got the WWE Speed title. She's now on Survivor Series at a Big Four PLE, and she killed it. She had an amazing performance. She's been in multiple War Games matches now. And I love seeing people like Candice, who everyone knows she's underrated, and everyone knows that she deserves a push, and everyone knows she'll deliver at a big spot. And she did at War Games. Now, following from that, when Tiffany Stratton and Io came in, they cooked. And Tiffany and Io are just so good in this match. I mean, all the competitors were good in this match, but the way it was booked, kinda, eh. You know, Bianca was naturally good. I mean, of course, but when Io came in with the trash can, we all knew what was gonna happen. Io with a trash can is one of the most dangerous things in the world, and Io goddamn grabbed the trash can from under the ring and decided, I'm not entering through the door. That would be too simple. I'm gonna climb the goddamn cage. And she did. And I thought she was gonna do something crazy before Candice dragged her down, but Io Sky came into the match and went ballistic. Now, of course, let's talk about Rhea's look for 1 minute, because she looked fantastic. And a part of me thought that Rhea pinning Liv was a possibility. And obviously, my main prediction, if the baby faces were going to win, was Rhea pinning Liv, like I said before. And spoiler alert, it came true. Now, Io Sky and Tiffany Stratton, which I think is a future WrestleMania match, had a little bit of an interaction. It was probably one of my favorite things from this match. Io Sky and Tiffany Stratton one-upping each other was fantastic to see. But what really was the biggest thing from this match was Io Sky and Tiffany Stratton both climbed to one side of the cage, and Io Sky did a moonsault, not seeing shit in a trash can, and hit it perfectly. I mean, this woman is one of the most incredible women's wrestlers on the planet right now. You can make a case that she is number one because this woman, Io Sky, cannot miss right now. She's just so good to watch. We've had nothing but good things to say to her every time she steps into the ring. She's just, you think of a wrestler that's just naturally good, and you just know is going to deliver no matter what. Io Sky is her. And Tiffany Stratton also, I don't have a picture of it, but Tiffany Stratton rather, did a swanton, a perfect swanton at the same time this was happening. This was definitely my favorite spot of the entire night because just how perfect it was executed. Tiffany and Io, applause to you. Now the match ended. Liv and Rhea were battling on the top rope. Rhea got the better of it. Rhea did a riptide to Liv through the table. That was wraps. Rhea pins Liv. And now my problem with this is that this gives me way less confidence and makes it more predictable that Io Sky is going to lose to Liv Morgan. Because now Rhea can absolutely get a title shot because she pinned Liv. Now, obviously, I'm glad that the baby faces won, and I was glad to be wrong because naturally a team of Bayley, Rhea, Io, Bianca, and Naomi, of course, I would want them to win. But Rhea pinning Liv maybe wasn't the best decision. Now, I love Rhea, of course, but of course, that with Io being the number one contender, I'm not quite sure pinning the champion was the best thing to do here. But we move on to Shinsuke and LA Knight for the US title. Shinsuke's new theme repackaged has been great to listen to. Actually, a lot of remixes tend to be horrible, but Shinsuke's was different. Shinsuke looks like a total badass. He looks like a final boss, and Shinsuke looked like a total badass. And long story short, this match wasn't anything special at all. In fact, I wasn't expecting it to be, but Shinsuke, under the impression that he's washed, according to many people, did pretty well in this match. I mean, LA Knight did well in this match. LA Knight has been a great United States champion, and that's why I said has been, because he lost the championship. Long story short, one Kinshasa to the back of the head is all Shinsuke needed to become the United States champion. It shocked me, because in my predictions, I said LA Knight was going to be a long United States champion. I said, if Logan Paul can hold the title for 200 days, why not Mr. Los Angeles Knight? Well, after 120 days, LA Knight's championship reign is over, and Shinsuke Nakamura is going to terrorize SmackDown as the United States champion. Interestingly enough, Shinsuke Nakamura has a date booked in Noah Wrestling, and he'll very likely, unless something happens, be entering that event with the United States Championship. Oh, Triple H. And Shinsuke, it's interesting because a lot of people are clamoring for Melo and Andrade to be in the United States title picture, and deservedly so. Melo and Andrade have been MVPs. But let's not infiltrate that. I think Shinsuke deserves this. Shinsuke has not won in a long-ass time, and this new character seemed way too deep for Shinsuke not to win the title. Because if Shinsuke loses the title, people are going to be clowning Shinsuke like crazy, and at least him with the title, you can give a longer billing to this new gimmick, and you can introduce a lot of baby faces now to take on Shinsuke for the title, aka Andrade, who I think should dethrone him. I mean, people were even mentioning Penta, whose contract expired, to be the one. Who knows? But congrats to Shinsuke. I think he deserves it. I think obviously Shinsuke has been great in the ring as of late, but I do think that I'm gonna give this a chance, a very light chance. Now, Braun Breaker, Kaiser, and Sheamus was next, and this match was arguably the best of the night. Braun Breaker, Kaiser, and Sheamus were trying to kill each other, and my God, can I just say Braun Breaker is one of the most creepy superstars in terms of like how crazy he goes in the ring. I mean, these guys tried to kill each other, and that's what we wanted. I mean, Chill Guy was watching on as well. But Braun Breaker, Sheamus, and Kaiser did amazing. Sheamus hit Braun with a brogue, and it looked like Sheamus was going to finally complete the Grand Slam. Kaiser pulled him out of the ring. And Braun Breaker ended up retaining the Intercontinental title in a match that can only be described as brutally good across the board. That was probably one of my favorite triple threat matches in the entirety of WWE this year. And Braun Breaker retaining was the right call because he just got his title back. But I thought maybe Kaiser could have been a sneaky pick because judging by how, Kaiser and Gunther could hold the titles at the same time. But Gunther won. And can I just say for a moment, like I said before, Braun Breaker and Jacob Fatu are the two scariest guys in WWE, and it ain't even close. Now, Gunther and Priest was next, and I thought this match was going to be another great match. And it was, for what it was worth. It was good, to say the least. I mean, Priest and Gunther is a slow start, but I thought they did follow up their SummerSlam match well. Gunther and Priest were going at it. It was mostly that Priest had a bad shoulder. Gunther was looking to expose it, and Gunther was sort of trying to pick the bones apart. It was just a classic Gunther good match. And like I said on Twitter, if you guys saw the post, Damian Priest is really, really good. Like, I think that people don't notice just how good Damian Priest is and really need to give more look to his badges. They've been really good. Now, Finn Balor, who we thought was just kind of in the dark, well, he's not in the dark anymore because Finn Balor came out and basically screwed Priest out of the title. Priest was about to potentially put Gunther away. Finn Balor decided to attack Priest where the ref wasn't looking. Gunther was like, you helped me, but I'm going to kick your ass. Gunther gave Finn Balor the biggest big boot I've seen in a long time, sent Balor flying, and Gunther went back into the ring, put Priest in a chokehold, and the damage has already been done. Priest passed out. Really good way to end it. Good finish, to be honest with you, because I thought, it's just Gunther, man. Gunther passing out Priest, but Gunther didn't feel good because he said he could win by himself, but he didn't win by himself because Finn Balor basically gave him the match, and it'll be interesting to see where this goes. Now, Balor and Priest, this rivalry should not last long. End it at Saturday night's main event and move on. This is not a rivalry that I anticipate. Okay. I anticipate being that long. Now, for Gunther, CM Punk is clearly potentially the next target. Now, I don't know what favor Paul Heyman has in this, but let me tell you something. Gunther is holding that title till WrestleMania. Now, the men's WarGames match was next, and we were suspecting a whole laundry list of things. One of the things that we were expecting was Tama Tonga to be a little crazy. CM Punk causing shit. I mean, the fact that this wasn't planned, CM Punk going over to Solo's team's cage was fucking hilarious. Roman Reigns taunting, putting up the ones in front of the cage was funny as well. And CM Punk and Roman Reigns acting disgusted by everything that CM Punk was doing in the cage was hilarious. This team was dysfunctional in the best way possible. Now, I thought that there was potential with Paul Heyman. I'm not there right away that The Rock would come out with him because that's what I thought was going to happen. But that's not what happened. Jimmy Uso, however, was the MVP. Jimmy Uso was definitely in the lab because this dude was doing whispers in the wind. This dude was doing Uso splashes from the top of the cage. Shout out Jimmy Uso. Absolutely the men's WarGames MVP. Especially after WrestleMania 40, Jimmy Uso deserves the MVP trophy. And nevertheless, Jacob Fatu could have also been considered an MVP because dude was doing moves that seemed crazy, but if you really look at Jacob Fatu, it's probably not that crazy to see what he's done. Now, Sammy, Roman, and Punk were all in the cage together, last three, and Punk wanted to come out. Roman said, nah. Sammy went out, and Punk gave him the dirtiest look. You can clearly tell that Roman and Punk don't like each other. It's not a matter, but Roman's got to accept it because of Paul Heyman. Now, Bronson Reed, however, was another MVP because dude was delivering tsunamis every 5 minutes, it seemed. And Bronson Reed has been incredible lately. I mean, not only good booking, but Bronson Reed has been incredible. Definitely one of my favorite wrestlers to watch in WWE right now. Every time he goes out there, chaos just follows, and I love it. Now, in the middle of the match, the 5 superstars were about to confront each other. Paul Heyman had to come out because Punk and Roman were about to literally start scrapping with each other. And Roman and Punk were not on the same page at that entire time until Paul Heyman came out. And this shot right here kind of just tells you the whole story. Paul Heyman brought Punk and Roman together and allowed the OG Bloodline to finally have full team chemistry and fight the match without losing it. Now, Bronson Reed was gonna basically kill Roman Reigns. Punk saved Roman Reigns from basically dying. And then after that, Solo was stuck in no man's land. Solo took 5 finishers, GTS to spear. Solo, you can count to 100. OG Bloodline won as expected. Now, the ending was gonna be the biggest part of this match. Everyone went to embrace Paul Heyman. Punk said, "Remember, Paul, we won. I get a favor." And that's probably the biggest thing on people's minds after Survivor Series. Now, for now, Roman and Punk are technically good. They're not friends by any means, but the OG Bloodline stand tall at the end of WarGames. Nothing special happened. There was no surprise again. There's no much surprises. It's everything that we already knew, but the new Bloodline goes down. Kind of reminds me of Survivor Series 2022, except replace Solo with Punk. That was cinema as well. And like I said, Jimmy Uso delivered an Uso splash from the top of the cage. This dude was an MVP. And the show ended pretty much the same shot that we saw SmackDown with Punk with. GTS, Punk saying, everyone putting their ones to the sky. GTS, one big family happy ending. And I'm happy with it. I'm happy with everything. Overall, I gotta say that the show was pretty good. I wouldn't say it was special, but it was a pretty good show. I'd say that last year's WarGames maybe has the edge, obviously, but this was still a very good show and definitely on the better side of WWE PLEs this year. In the press conference, there wasn't really anything that big. Triple H talked about the ID program, which I thought was cool, but pretty much reporters continuing to ask dumb questions. EO Sky always gets asked dumb questions for some reason. And CM Punk and Jey Uso being the new Cody and Jey in the press conference is fucking fantastic. I mean, I gotta watch the press conferences more often because there always seems to be some funny shit going down. Overall, great night. Survivor Series WarGames was good. And if you guys stayed throughout this video the entire way with me, thank you. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.